We ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped. Sitting high up on the stone. When my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah, we ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped. Sitting high up on the stone. When my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section.
Swolenormous.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing, 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 testicles. Oh, welcome everyone to episode 18 hundo and 70 dose of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beardcast, broadcast, gamecast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and of course slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps.
Yow.
What's going on, beaches, booshes, busters, hustlers, and ye all hoes? It's your boy, Papa Swolio, back with another episode. And today's episode of the Sleazecast is brought to you by Everest and K2 Flexin' on
Catalina wine mixer.
The fucking Catalina wine mixer.
All right, happy Father's Day to all you swole beaches out there. Let's get some gorillas for all the daddas out there. If you're a papa, I'm a papa to Papa Swolio, and some of you have kids and you got pops yourself, and some of you might not, but happy Swole's Day to everyone. It's Papa's Day. It's obviously Papa's Day. It's Father's Day. It's Papa's Day. You know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Welcome to the show, everyone. If it's your first time, drop some cherries in the comments below. You just so happened, if it is your first episode, you just so happened to tune into and Ask Papa Swolio Live. So I'm not sure. Why does it say priority access? Silly, silly goose. It is Ask Papa. Wrong fucking button. Priority access. Oh, Papa Swolio. Silly sidebar difference. Anyway, today is Ask Papa Swolio Live, and we'll take a bunch of questions. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode, probably about 45 minutes or so, because I do have an event. Last night, fam. Last night we had an awesome, man, last night was fucking great. Let me get a round of applause. So last night was for members only. You can check out the episode later. It'll be up probably later today or tomorrow. If you missed the live, for shame. But we had a live stream. It was Ask the Swolios. We had Grandpapa Swolio. We had Mama Swolio, and of course myself, and it was awesome. And that was last night, so that will be available for later listening. And for all of you that were there last night, I know Cerny was there. A couple of others of you that I see in the comments now were there. But it was fun, and it was it was pretty awesome. And anyway, that'll be available probably later today or tomorrow to catch the episode that you missed. By the way, we got a couple announcements because it is Sunday, it is Papa's Day, and it's also going to be tomorrow's episode will be a private episode for members only as well. So head on over to swolenormousx.com. It's at the bottom of your screen, and also in the show notes if you want to jump on the Hot Swole Summer Special. It's available right now. And also make sure that you're checking out the other shows. Check out all these awesome shows, bitches. Check out the Swolenormous audio experience, the Red Wine Swole podcast, and the Swolenormous Procast. And of course, Monday, tomorrow, June 21st, 12 noon Eastern time, we will have our weekly accountability meeting. We got new releases. So again, if you want access to tomorrow's episode, if you want to jump on one of those unlimited special offers over at swolenormousx.com, you'll get access to all the new releases. We got a new yoga class coming. We got some other things releasing and dropping, and announcements, of course, as to what is coming up this week. Very exciting stuff. All that will be talked about and discussed tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time, for the weekly accountability meeting. So episode 1873 for members only. Again, join over there at swolenormousx.com. We got a new clip on the Swolenormous channel on YouTube. Workout videos are fatphobic. Look at the picture on the right. Isn't that
That's
Madeline?
fucking bullshit.
Is that our girl Madeline? God, where'd she go, huh? Where'd Madeline go? Does anyone know where Madeline went? That's just for the thumbnail. We didn't talk about her in the video, but that looks like Madeline. Looks like she lost a lot of weight. Looks like, I don't know what's going on there. That picture looks a little bit fat, looks a little fat phobic. Remember she went super woke about a year or two ago and then she just dropped off the face of the earth? I wonder what happened. I wonder what happened. Any updates? Drop that in the comments. And of course, another clip here on the Daily Swole. Banned in the Olympics for eating a burrito. If you missed this clip yesterday, make sure you go and check this out. Stay away from the burritos. That's probably generally good advice. Even if you're not competing in the Olympics, you probably want to avoid those things anyway. Mystery meats, not really a good thing. Anyway, check out those clips over there on the Swolenormous and the Daily Swole YouTube channels. And remember, there's a couple other channels as well. So whatever YouTube channel you're on, make sure you check the related channels and you'll see the other things that we have going on. Got the Papa Swolio channel, got the Swolenormous Pro, and you can see the latest posts on all those channels. So go check it out. Posting a lot of shorts on the Daily Swole channel and on the Swolenormous channel and Papa Swolio, lots of stuff going. Lots of stuff going on. It's fucking awesome.
He's heating up!
I am heating up. So fam, let's bust this nut open. Let's jump into some questions because we don't have a lot of time today. It's hot. It's beautiful outside. Just did some kettlebell swings, did some cleans, did some windmills. It was great. I had a great pump today. I hope you had a great pump today. If you didn't have a great pump today, why the fam? If you didn't pump today, go get your fucking pump on. And if you did, drop in the comments down below. Before we get into any of those questions, let's get this fucking nut busted. Freddie, you are dead on. Cover your nips, fam, for the busting of the nut. And of course, put some respect on it. Oh, yeah. Come on, fam. Come on, fam. You know how it goes. You know how it goes. It's a little swole privilege, and Leo, of course, drinking like a fish. Leo, were you a father? Were you a father? Did you put a bun in the oven before you went deep diving, before Rose let you go? Did you put a bun in the oven? Did you drop some seed in the back of that car, in the back of that Model T? Was that you, Leo? Maybe Leo's a father. Yeah. He dropped a little, what was it called? What was the diamond called from Titanic? What was it, like the heart of the ocean? Yeah, I know it. We all know what that's about. Is that what they call it these days? Kids these days? Yeah, I gave her the old heart of the ocean. Know what I'm saying?
I'd be the luckiest guy alive if that did.
Does that make sense? It sounds funny to me, or maybe it's just, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Bueller? Anyone? Not?
Come on, man.
It's a miss? Okay. Anyway, tried. I tried. Anyway, hashtag Swole Privilege. There's nothing like a good Swole Privilege card. I was actually wearing my Swole Privilege, tank yesterday, and it got great reviews. I got great feedback. He dropped an iceberg. Dropping the old iceberg. I love it. All right, hashtag Swole Privilege for a chance to win today's Swole card. Again, we'll give that away at the end of today's episode. Fucking fire. All right, now we're opening the floor for questions. It's open floor, open season. If you got a question, drop in the comments below with the hashtag AskPapaSwole. We got some from Instagram, might have some from TikTok. So if you got a question, now is the motherfucking time. Now is the time. Let's get some more gorillas. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, let's get a question here from Instagram. And this one's from Nerdella. And Nerdella says or asks, hi, I am an intermediate yogi. How do I know when I can switch to advanced classes? You'll know. You're not an intermediate yogi if you don't know. You're already progressing. If you're intermediate, you went from beginner to intermediate. Do the same thing for advanced. Just try it. Try it. You're not going to be doing anything you can't do anyway. If you can't do a handstand, you're not going to be able to do a handstand. Just try it. You can always modify. That's the beautiful thing about yoga. You can always modify a yoga practice. So I would try a level 3 or a level 2. And if it's challenging, just pause. Or if there's a move that you can't do, pause the video or drop into Shavasana or child's pose and then skip it and then do it again. You're not going to know what's challenging you unless you try. You need to push yourself. You need to step off that cliff. And if you're already an intermediate yogi, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just try it and then adjust and modify. Drop to your knees. Hold a pose a little bit less long if you need to. If you fall over or you stumble or you're doing a balance pose like a crow or something and you slip and you fall, then get up and fucking do it again. Yeah, you're not going to know unless you do it. It's a good question, but how do you know? Do it. Don't question. Don't think so much. Don't think too much. Just do. Don't think too much. Just do. Let's see. All right. Alpha Tyler, Papa Swolio, when do I know when not to drink too much water before bed? Seems like I'm always waking up to piss. You're drinking. That's when you know. That's if you're waking up to piss in the middle of the night all the time, drink more earlier in the day. And then don't drink for like an hour or two before you go to sleep. Just drink a ton earlier and then pee a couple times and you'll be fine. Yeah, you have to adjust and figure out what the best amount is for you. Like, when do you know? That's what your body's telling you. When you're pissing all night long, you drank too much right before bed and you're getting up and pissing. Rohan Naval, good name. Papa Swolio, at what point do I start bulking? Also, will bulking affect my ab formation? Your ab formation? You mean the muscle shape? Yeah, if you're bulking, you're probably going to store more body fat, a little bit extra fat, and you might not see the abs because you might have fat on top. If you're bulking, abs is not your priority. If you're bulking, being lean is not your priority by definition. You're bulking. What's your goal? You want to put on size? Then don't worry so much about how defined you are. You're not going to be able to do both. You need to put on some fat and put on some size and be in a caloric surplus. Get enough protein, right? 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. You need to train hard. You need to eat big. So it's going to be something that you're going to have to tiptoe and toe the line and figure out what works best, but you still need a surplus. Don't worry so much about your abs. Everyone's going to store fat and distribute fat a little bit differently, but you have to pay to play. You got to eat, you got to bulk. So at what point do I start bulking? I don't know anything about you. It depends on the person. If you're obese already, you shouldn't be bulking. You should be eating around a maintenance or a slight deficit and training fucking hard. Lift some heavy weights, eat enough protein, adjust the carbohydrates subtly, play around with the caloric intake a little bit, but you should be focusing on building muscle. If you have a lot of extra body fat, you could be around a maintenance and just train heavy, and your body will be taking from your extra body fat stores over time. It takes months, and plus you need to reset your body. You need to lower your stress, lower your cortisol, get better sleep, hydrate better. It's not going to happen right away. A lot of people change just because you want it, and just because you made a drastic change, it's still going to take weeks and months. So you have to be consistent as fuck and really be on point, like obsessive about what you're doing and be consistent as hell. You can't be eating a surplus some days and then eating in a deficit some days. No, I forgot to eat a meal and I skipped a workout. You're not going to get it. You have to be so relentlessly consistent. Remember, you're forcing your body to adapt. Your body's not going to make massive adaptation and massive changes if you are not consistent, because then it's getting signals like, oh, do this instead. Hey, do this. Hey, we're bulk. Hey, we have a surplus. Hey, we have a deficit. Hey, we have a surplus. Your body isn't going to be in bulking mode if it's like extra food, heavy training. Your body is going to drift essentially and navigate and start leaning towards putting on size because you're relentlessly putting your body in that environment. That's one of the best answers you'll ever get for fucking bulking. And very few people want to hear it. Very, very few people want to hear that shit because it's real talk. It's real talk. If you're not getting results from bulking or you're not getting results from those things, it's because you're not being consistent enough. You're not doing it well enough. And people don't want to look in the mirror and be like, oh shit, I'm fucking up. A lot of people do. I get it. Let's get a little yowl. Where's my yowl? Yowl. All right, question. Zombie need hug. Hey, a zombie, I need a hug. Papa Swolio, what should I look for when buying chicken? Should I get insect-fed free range? Do they have that? Do they list them as insect-fed? They should be eating insects. I'm trying to increase my quality of chicken and not just buy the cheap crap. What should you look for when buying chicken? You should look for a ribeye steak. You should look for steak. You should look for grass-fed beef when you're looking for chicken. That's my recommendation. You want to make sure that you're getting, try to get pastured or free range. You want to get no soy-free. You definitely don't want soy because a lot of times they're feeding grains and soy and stuff like that. But personally, if you're looking for grass-fed beef, that's the best way to look for chicken, is to look for grass-fed beef. All right, gorillas for daddy. That's for me.
Shampoo my crotch.
Most chicken is cheap crap, to be honest. And those lean meats, you need some good fats. That's just my personal preference. Or cook it in beef tallow, something. Cook it in a ton of fat. Not a huge fan of chicken. It's good though, but you know. Let's see. It's not easy to find grass-fed beef where I live, unfortunately. Sure, you can buy it online. If you live in the United States, you can order it online. Just Google it. Yeah, people always ask, have you Googled? Just Google grass-fed beef. Boom, you'll probably get 10 companies, and you can pick the one that works best for you for shipping or pricing, but check them out. Check them out. Hey, Rohan, Papa Swole, thanks for the answer. I stayed up till 12:30 in India to ask you that. Dude, I appreciate that. I hope that was a good answer. I know I kind of laid it down, but Rohan, if you have any more, like, if I know you're up late, but drop a little more context. What's your height? How much do you weigh? Do you have experience lifting? I'd love to give you some more detailed information, but whenever I give an answer like that, that's more general. It's because it's a general question. It's like, I don't know anything about you. I don't even know have you ever lifted before? I don't even know. It's really hard. Like, how do I know when to start bulking? It's like, I don't know anything about you. Like, if you're 300 pounds overweight, yeah, that's, you know what I'm saying? So give me a little more context if you want before you go CPs. Tyler, what the fuck was with that bug and cheese reaction you did on TikTok? Dude. Bro.
How about I send you a hobo's dick cheese?
Yeah, I don't know if that's a joke. I feel like it's not a joke. People are that crazy. Of course, that guy could just fry up a big thing of cheese and pour it over bugs. He did one with mealworms. He did one with bugs. He does a lot of gross ones. He pours cheese on Oreos. I think that's just his gimmick. He just pours cheese on it, wastes some cheese. I mean, cheese is kind of a waste anyway, but he just, it's disgusting. And I could do that guy has a whole account with all that. There'll be more reactions, but it's just so gross. It was so nasty. Oh God, so gross. Yeah, if you didn't see it, if you didn't see that video, go check it out. It's on TikTok at Papa Swolio. It's gross. It's gross. I'm not, it's not like an exciting video. It's this guy pouring melted cheese on cicadas or mealworms or Matthew. Papa Swole, I've had 2 friends tear their biceps requiring surgery in the past year. Damn. What measures can and should be taken to prevent this kind of injury? I think I'm doing things right, but I don't want to miss anything. How'd they tear their biceps? First off, mobility, stretching, strengthening, working on your rotator cuff muscles, making sure you're doing yoga, doing those chest stretches and getting that mobility with the chest, arm out to the side. You're rolling over your arm in the yin classes. That's really good for mobilizing the anterior deltoid and the biceps. Remember, you're working your biceps when you're training your chest. You're hitting your biceps as well. When you're doing any kind of shoulder or front raise or lifting your arm to the front, you're working your biceps. I would also recommend working, like I said, your posterior rotator cuff and your middle and lower traps. The biceps tendon, the biceps actually crosses the shoulder joint, so it does provide shoulder flexion. So if you have underactive or inhibited rotator cuff or your body's not stabilized properly, when you do any kind of movement to the front, you'll get more friction. Remember in the master classes, fam, when we talked about the biceps tendon and the supraspinatus and these tendons that kind of run really close to the top of the joint and come close to that acromion in the shoulder, so you can get some friction, you get some inflammation, you get more rubbing, you get more pain and limited mobility. So yoga is great, working on that posterior rotator cuff and working on shoulder alignment, eliminating any kind of upper cross syndrome, floor cobras, making sure you're activating your middle and lower traps, doing scapular depressions, doing prone presses. Those are all really good options to balance out the shoulder. And of course, making sure that you are stretching and mobilizing the biceps and things like that. But people can tear their biceps by like a quick motion. Sometimes maybe if you're picking up it could be something that isn't expected. Let's say someone's getting off an airplane, you're going to the luggage. It's like shit like that. You go to pick up your suitcase and it's a little bit heavier, a little bit off balance, and it kind of yanks your arm a little bit. You pull it off the rack and ooh, pop. It could be weird shit like that. That's why mobility and proper training and different planes of motion can mitigate those kinds of issues. Sometimes shit just happens because it just fucking happens. You're on a plane for a couple hours, you get a little dehydrated, you're stiff, and you go to grab a heavy suitcase off the rack and all of a sudden your shoulder pops, or that kind of bullshit happens sometimes, even for people that are in good shape. So a lot of it is just mitigating and, mitigating the risk. All right. LJJG, Lord James Gomez. Hold on, I got a burp coming. Hold on. Yeah. Oh, fucking what?
I like to caress rusty spoons.
It is a hobby of mine. That was nice. That was solid. Drop your ratings in the comments down below. The Olympics are coming up, so hey, that was nice. That was nice. Be gentle with that. Be gentle with that. 8.9. Very good. Thank you, Tyler. All right, Papa Swole, I'm trying to bulk and I'm taking a surplus of protein, but it takes almost an hour to eat my meals, mostly because I don't have an appetite. The doctors can't figure it out. Either I only get hungry once every 5 or 6 days. Is this something that happens when I'm taking more wholesome foods? No, what, you're hungry once a week? Nah, that's not normal. That's not, what are you eating, dude? What's going on? That's not normal to not be hungry ever. Or do you do fasting and stuff like that? Like, what are you consuming? Sounds like a psychological issue, not a actual physical issue. Just curious. There could be a lot of factors with hormones and with your hypothalamus, perhaps. Curious. So you eat slowly? Interesting. You need more details for that, just even make a guess. Let's see here. Teddy Z85, Papa Swolio, why are so many doctors saying red meat causes heart disease, even the grass-fed beef? They don't say that. Most people, they don't specify because these studies are not done with grass-fed beef, and these studies are not usually done with healthy people with other healthy lifestyle habits. So what happens is you'll do these epidemiological studies, which is really just a kind of a review of other data. You're extrapolating correlations based on data from other studies and from other surveys and stuff, which are often self-reported. And if you think about just classically how people gather data and how many flaws there are in science and how much bias and how much cherry picking and manipulation, a lot of what happens is you're taking surveys from people that are self-reporting what they're eating in X, Y, and Z. And if red meat has been demonized for like 60, 70 years. So if you are in a society that's demonizing red meat, even if it's incorrect, what you're doing is you're also making other bad choices because you're technically going against the grain. So people that are ignoring doctors' recommendations in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, even if it's incorrect, they're also probably ignoring other things. They're smoking, they're drinking alcohol, they're eating a lot of carbohydrates, they're eating low quality red meat, eating salted cured meats and deli meats and shit like that, all these nitrates and fillers and sugars and things like that. Also, what was I going to say? Vegetable oils, a lot of these, carbohydrates and things that they're eating with them are going to be vegetable oils, seed oils. People eat a lot of garbage foods, exercise, people lack, people have a lot of stress. So if you're grouping all that in, you say, oh, well, a lot of these people happen to eat red meat that also have all these other bad habits. Most people that are eating red meat in the United States are eating farmed beef. They're not exercising. They're not doing yoga. They have tons of stress. They're smoking. They're drinking. They have poor habits. So, of course, you can see a lot of people eat red meat and a lot of people are unhealthy. You have the majority of the population in this country specifically that are overweight and obese. So if the majority of the population is overweight or obese and the majority of the people eat red meat, you'd be like, oh, it's the red meat. It's the red meat. Look at all these people that are unhealthy and they eat red meat. Well, the majority of people in this country are unhealthy anyway. So what do the majority of people do, period? Oh, the majority of people watch TV. Well, TV is causing obesity. Yeah, it is. It is in a big way. TV and cell phones and stuff like that. So you can extrapolate a lot of correlations. Hey, look, most of these people happen to wear white shoes. Oh, white shoes causes heart disease, or white shoes is the devil. So most people are unhealthy. It's really hard to get data and extrapolate data when you don't have a good control group. Like how many people, let's say everyone if you had enough people in a study that were eating properly, living quality, living by the 7 pillars, eating grass-fed beef, eating organ meats, like how many people that are eating even grass-fed beef are eating organ meats, are doing any of the other 7 pillars? It's just, that doctors aren't really taught nutrition properly. They're not really taught nutrition at all. So how many people just eat a grass-fed steak and some organ meats, or they're going to have potatoes and French fries, and they're going to have a soda, and they're going to have dessert afterwards? Just because they had red meat doesn't mean that's what's causing the problems. Plus, is the meat cooked? Is it cooked in vegetable oil? Is it cooked in, margarine? Are they putting crap all over it and tons of table salt and not like Celtic sea salt? They're getting just tons of sodium. Yeah, there's so many factors. So many factors. nutritional studies are extremely hard to do. Extremely hard to do. Because a lot of it is also, how are you gonna gauge what people do? A lot of people do mindless eating. Because think about it, what if those people in the studies aren't getting enough sleep? Guess what's going to increase heart disease even more than eating, even if you're eating quality grass-fed beef, if you're not getting enough sleep, you're stressing out the body, you're going to increase your risk of heart disease by not getting enough sleep. So again, are these studies and is this data, are they measuring sleep? And how are they measuring sleep? Are people just saying, oh, I get 8 hours of sleep a night because they think they should be or they think they are? What if they're really getting 7 or 6.5 and they say they're getting 8 on a survey? Okay, just let's say they are getting 8 hours of sleep. Is it quality sleep? Maybe they're eating late at night. Did the survey cover that the fact that they're eating late at night and the fact that the people aren't getting deep sleep, they're just getting kind of surface level, light sleep, and they're not really getting repair and recovery, so they're chronically stressed. So what are these studies actually extrapolating? How many people actually take care of their health and really try to get to the root of it? Very few. Most of them are here, right? Most of the population is overweight and obese, not to mention even the people that aren't overweight or obese. How many of those are actually really pursuing true health? And just some of them are just kind of skating by doing the bare minimum. They just happen to not be overweight or obese. Just because they're not overweight or obese, again, it doesn't mean they're metabolically healthy. You can be skinny and be very unhealthy. It's not just obesity. That's what the fat acceptance tries to leverage. Like, it's not just because you're fat doesn't mean you're unhealthy, because you can be thin and still be unhealthy. Yes, thank you. Thank you for that. You're literally proving my point with how sick this country is. You're just proving the point. But I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to justify the obesity, but prove my point. Joe Knutson. Papa Swolio, what do you think about an only meat carnivore diet? It might work for some people. If you have a ton of autoimmune issues, I would recommend looking into it. It's not for me personally, only meat. But if you're doing only meat, it's got to be 100% grass-fed. You need to be getting your organ meats, and you need to be very careful to make sure you're getting in enough salt. You need to making sure you're getting all your nutrients, doing blood work, and all that stuff. You got to be very careful. You can't just be eating top sirloin lean meats. You got to be getting nose to tail, grass-fed. You want to be. It's a challenge. So I personally don't like to go completely carnivore, but I mostly eat meats, chicken, fruits and things like that. Sometimes some white rice or sweet potato and some, fresh in-season fruit. Been eating a lot of mangoes because it's mango season. But again, it's seasonal fruit. So the fruit is ripe from the tree. It's not going to have the same content of lectins or, inhibitory properties as unripe fruit, because if they're shipping it from 3,000 miles across the world, they have to pick it super early. So it's not really a ripe fruit. It's not going to have the same flavor. It's not going to have the same nutritional content. So because I have the tree in the backyard, so I'm eating a lot of mangoes, but it's hotter days, really hot, longer days. So the heat, the sugar, that's why the mangoes are perfect for this time of year, because it provides a lot of water and sugar for longer, hotter, humid days. But it's not all the time. So there's a little peak of when you're getting these fresh fruits, and then they're going to be gone, and then I'm not going to be sucking down. I'm not going to be mainlining mangoes anymore, which is pretty much, we have 100 fucking mangoes, or so many. But the fucking iguanas, the squirrels, and the birds are all gangbanging this tree. They're just eating all the mangoes off the tree. I have to chase them. Fucking assholes. All right, before we take a couple more, we'll take a couple more questions. Remember, if you want to join the Swole fam, head on over to swolenormousx.com. We have our weekly accountability meeting. So yesterday we had our Father's Day special. So I know today is Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all the papas out there. Yesterday, Grandpapa and Mama Swolio were there for Ask the Swolios. That's a Swole Fam Roundtable special event we had last night. That will be available later, either today or tomorrow if you missed the live stream. So that was yesterday, but tomorrow, accountability meeting, 12 noon Eastern time, June 21st. We got new releases. And of course, like I mentioned, we have the Ask the Swolios will be available for catching it later for those that weren't there live. It was a lot of fun. So those of you that were there, thank you for being there. It was fucking awesome. You all crushed it. It was great. It was a lot of fun. Question from Terry Pencil. Papa Swolio, I was wondering if there is a baseline of physically by age and gender that a normal, healthy adult should be able to do. I heard of a person should be able to bench press. Did we answer this question a couple days ago? Is there a baseline? That's going to be up for debate. You could just Google something. Yeah, a person should be able to bench press their body weight. Yeah, that's about a good concept, a good general, but that's only one type of exercise. You know, there's a great quote. I forget who said it, but some fitness personality or someone, you should be healthy enough or fit enough to save your own life and to save someone else's life, for example, right? So let's say your car flies off a bridge into a lake. You should be able to swim to shore. If you need to climb to get to the roof or something, you should be able to climb a rope. You know, you should be able to get off the ground and from a flat position. You should be able to jump in the air. You should be able to run and sprint if you need to sprint, right? You should be able to lift something off the ground like a deadlift. What if you have to lift the car or lift like a heavy kid's toy or a bicycle or a motorcycle or something landed on your child? Who knows? You should be able to perform fundamental lifts and things like that. So I don't think there's an actual number, right? A baseline of physicality. You know, you should be able to do physical exercise. But this is why yoga, kettlebell training, doing things like mace bells, Indian clubs, like moving heavy weight with power and with coordination. That's why kettlebells, I think kettlebells are one of the best things you can do for power, for strength, and for mobility, for space, for price, in terms of the value you get. Of all the hundreds or thousands or whatever dollars of equipment and bars and stuff that I have over there today, because we're going to, see some family in a little bit. I took the 44 pound kettlebell and not the 53, the 44 and the 100. And I just did I did a couple extra. I did some cleans, some snatches. I did some windmills, and I did some kettlebell swings. And that's all I did today. But I did like half an hour. I'm like, all right, I want to do a workout, but I need to do quick. I want to do legs, but I don't have enough time for real full leg workout. So let me just do something metabolic. Let me just get some glute action, some hip hinges, because I was in the car for a while yesterday driving. And then tomorrow I'll crush a heavier leg day. So it's just, in terms of what you should do physically, that's why mobility is one of the number one things you'll lose over time. So literally strength and mobility is probably the two most important things as you get older. And plus kettlebells are great for grip strength. So as you get older, the coordination, the balance, and the control and the joint integrity. And one of the most important things as you get older is to be able to have grip strength, because a lot of elderly people fall and break their hip because they have poor grip strength, and they can't, when they grab a wall to fall or a railing, they don't have the strength to catch themselves, or they fall, they don't have the strength to catch themselves on the ground. Or, when you slip and fall, like, whoop, and you land on your hands, maybe you hurt your shoulder a little bit, or you land, better to hurt your shoulder, kind of like, ooh, and like you hurt your wrist a little bit than to break your fucking hip and be in a wheelchair and decline until you die. It's not a good thing. Sorry if I kicked up something, but a lot of elderly people fall and break a hip, and that's where they just decline because they're too old to regenerate the bone density because they don't lift, and they're incapacitated. They get depressed, and they just kind of slide down the deep end. Tyler, do you recommend fresh fruit over frozen? I've seen studies that frozen is better. If it's in season, yeah, frozen fruit's better generally because it's picked ripe. When you get fruit in the store that's sitting that's just what I want to say dry, but room temperature, it's usually picked early, depending on where it is. So fresh fruit like from the tree, from the mango tree, that's the best. Getting the fruit the way it's designed. But if you are let's say you're getting mangoes in December and it's winter, it's snow outside, and there's mangoes in your supermarket, that's obviously not coming from down the street. That's coming from Mexico or South America. So they're not picking it ripe off the tree and shipping it, because by the time it got there, it'd be rotten. So they have to pick it a week or two early. That's why the mangoes in the stores are usually green. And when they get soft, they don't really have much taste, is because they're picked early. They're not ready to be consumed. When you eat a mango ripe off the tree, you'll probably bust a load in your pants. Yeah, you'll squirt for sure. It's so good.
It's so good.
All right. Let's see. Rohan, Papa Swolio. This is a follow-up. I'm 16. I'm 5'9". So a follow-up from the guy who's in India looking at bulking. I'm 16, 5'9", and 132 pounds. I appreciate going in pounds and not kilograms. Thank you. I lost 23 pounds over the last 7 weeks. Wow. I would like a body similar to yours, and changing my diet isn't an issue. I have done well whilst cutting. Ooh, whilst. Good. I like that. Well said. I like that word, whilst. And motivated to push on. Okay. 5'9", 132. You lost 23 pounds of what? Fat? It doesn't sound like you have much to lose. 5'9", 132. You're skinny. Or like a body similar to yours. Well, get ready to fucking eat big and train like a savage for the next decade, 15 years. You're ready to be obsessed with fitness and bodybuilding for the next 10 to 15 years of your life. There you go. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. It's time to bulk. You're 16, but also remember, you're 16. So your metabolism's through the roof. You're growing a lot. Like, it's going to take you. It's hard to bulk when you're 16. You're going to have to really get in that surplus and really be crushing hard. So you're at that phase where you're at that place where I started lifting. Like I started lifting really more seriously, like 17, 18, 19. So you got plenty of time. You got plenty of time. Randy, ever had a fresh apple from the tree? My God, that's nature's candy. Doesn't hold a candle or whatever you say. Nothing up to a fresh mango from the tree. But yeah, I've had fresh apples. When I think of like fresh apples versus fresh mango, it's like overrated. Overrated. Now, fresh fruit's great. You know why? Because it's fresh. There's nothing like fresh fruit. And if you've only eaten fruit from a store, you don't understand. Like any fruit, fresh is great. Like a fresh apple from the tree, that'd be delicious. Like a fresh peach or something, or watermelon right off. It's fresh. It's right there. It's ready to be consumed. It's always going to be better. Yeah, most foods, even foods that you might have had at the store, like, oh, I don't like pears, or I don't like, most of the time you haven't had a good one. So once you have a real, it's like, oh, now I get it. Oh, that's what it tastes like. It's good shit. Oh, pears are so good. Let's see. Eli Smith or E1 Smith, do you read any books? Yeah, I listen to tons of podcasts and audiobooks. I need an alpha book to read. An alpha book. What's a good book to start with? I think anyone. We always talk about it. We should read Atomic Habits. That's one of the best books. That's one of the most fundamental books that anyone should read. Because everyone needs to create habits. I don't care what kind of habit you're trying to create. Everything is habits. Everything is habits. So I always talk about the same book because everyone needs to hear about it and most people haven't read it probably. But anything you want to do, whether it's business, whether it's relationships, whether it's health, whether nutrition, whatever it is, Atomic Habits, everything you have to do in life, anything you want is going to be built off habits. Anything that you want to accomplish with your goals, like even physical or meditation, everything is, well, you need to create better habits and do these things. Like setting up the process to do the things that you need to do to get what you want. So it's always the best idea. You can read that book, and I'll recommend another thing that too many people don't do is reread shit. I'll listen to podcasts multiple times. I'll listen to audiobooks or a podcast series multiple times. Just get repetitions. You think you're consuming a lot more the first time you go through something than you really are. So if any of you have read Atomic Habits, read it again. And again, I usually read the same book several times over the course of months or years. I just reread books. So the best ones, read them multiple times. You don't need to read 1,000 books one time. It's better to read 10 books 100 times. It really is, because you'll master the content. And every time you look at a book, sometimes you'll read a book and it's like, oh, it's really good. But then you read it in 2 years and you're a different person in 2 years. So you have a different perspective on the book and you kind of remember the fundamentals of the book. So then you start noticing other aspects of the book. And it's the same thing with a movie. You watch a movie, wow, there's a great movie. And everyone knows this, your favorite movie, you watch it 3 times or the 5th time you've seen it, all of a sudden you notice something in the background you never noticed before. Because you know the story, you start noticing and you start focusing on other elements of the production. You find an Easter egg, or, oh shit, I didn't see that guy in the background. You see they snuck him in there. Same thing with the book. You read it over and over again, you have a different perspective. As you become a different person, and that's why a lot of people don't re-listen or reread a book, because they think, oh, it's the same book. It's the same book. It's the same thing. I already read it. I know the content. It's the same book. It's not the same book, because you're a different person. So you're reading the book differently, and you're thinking about the book differently, and you're going to process the content differently. And you're a smarter, more knowledgeable person than you were 2 years ago when you read it. It's a different book. Trust me. Try it again. For anyone that's read it, read again. Christos, Papa Swolio, have you ever had any experience with physiotherapists? If so, what's your opinion? In your opinion, what are something PTs should learn from the sports science? What's the difference between a physiotherapist and a physical therapist? Or is it the same thing with a cooler name? They're trying to rebrand. I don't even know the difference between all these little changes. So in terms of any experience, in what sense? What are some things that they should learn? I don't know. All I do know, my experience from physical therapy or being around it, because I thought about being a physical therapist at one point. I just didn't want to deal with insurance companies and always injure people. I'm like, all right, that kind of sucks. Just in my opinion. But one of the things that sucks about the system is when you have a prescription or a doctor recommends you go to a therapist, usually they'll give you a prescription. And there's a lot of limitations with insurance companies, what they can actually treat. So if you have an issue with the right leg, for example, and the doctor writes a prescription or say, hey, physical therapy, right ankle, this, x-rays show blah, 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 MRI, whatever it is. And then they refer you. Sometimes physical therapists, and this is just from my experience in the past, but that's not super recent. I don't know if any laws change. I doubt it because the industry wants to keep you sick. But if it says right leg, they're not able usually to do therapy on other areas. The problem is if you hurt your right leg and the prescriptions and such are for your right leg, usually what happens with the body is you do guarding. You guard the body and you start leaning more on the left leg. You start depending more on the left leg. Your gait changes and things change. And I'm not sure. Sometimes I know from the past, just my experience, that certain therapists were saying that they're kind of hamstrung with what kind of treatments they could do because they're only technically allowed to treat the right leg or what was written on the prescription. So they try to work around it because a lot of times when if you have a right leg injury, you start using the left leg too much, you get overuse injuries on the left side because your gait changes, your hips change angles, and you start putting more pressure on the left leg, you get overuse injuries. So you kind of have to do therapy on both sides. So I don't know if it's different or doctors are doing things differently or physiotherapists just don't care and they ignore that now. But I remember that was an issue in one instance. So that kind of sticks out of my brain always. And it kind of always left a bad taste in my mouth as that's fucking sketchy. Like you should do whatever you need to help the person, but everyone's trying to make more money with less work, or everyone's trying to get greased. So I don't know if it's the same. I don't know if it's still the same thing, but I'm sure it's pretty anal like that. Patricia Chiampas. Cool picture. It looks like Totoro. Is that like Star Wars people riding cats? I'm sure this has been asked a million times, but how much protein do I actually need? 40s female, about 27% body fat. I have 100 pounds of muscle mass right now. I am doing body weight exercise and some light weights, trying to gain a bit more muscle to help burn fat. Don't lift light weights, lift heavy. Good for you. Yeah, lift heavier. Don't go light. Like lift weights, build strength, do heavy weight, lift heavy. It'll be better for your body. Don't be afraid to lift heavy. So protein, it depends on how much you're lifting and what your intensity is. So anywhere between like 0.7, 0.8 grams per pound of body weight up to a gram, but you might not need that much as a female with less body mass. So maybe a little bit lower than that, 0.6, 0.7, but it depends on the person. And that's going to fluctuate. That's going to adjust. So there's no like exact answer. Like you need this. So I would start off, let's say you're 100 pounds of muscle. That's an approximation. I don't know how much you weigh. So you can calculate that and just kind of maybe undershoot a little bit and then play around and see how you feel with that range of like 0.7 to 1. But depends on how hard you're training. You might not need as much. Depends on the intensity and the overload. All right, let's see. One more question. Let's do one more question. Okay, let's see here. Rita So. Papa Swolio, I'm someone who likes to run a lot, but how do I transition into the weights? Because every time I try lifting, I switch back to the cardio. What? What? You talking about? How do you transition? By doing it. Every time I try lifting, I switch back to the cardio. Well, don't switch back. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Rita? You like to run a lot? Okay, well, you need to lift some weights. You transition by starting to lift weights. Every time I try lifting, I switch back to the cardio. I don't know what that means. You're just not consistent. You don't stick with it. You think there's any other thing to do aside from not switching back to the cardio? I don't understand what the problem is. Just don't go back. Pretty simple. I know that's probably like, yeah, I get the answer. That's probably not what you're actually trying to ask. Like, why do you drift? Just stick to a program. You need to start implementing more weights. If you want more of a physique and you want more strength and muscle tone and shape and fat metabolism, you shouldn't be just running, just pounding on your joints. Plus, if you're running heel to toe, you're just jacking up your knees and your back, putting a lot of stress and shock waves through your body. It's not really the proper way to run. And long distance running is very, in my opinion, is extremely overrated. Extremely overrated. Sprints and plyometric and explosive activity is great. Long distance running is, I think it's a diminishing returns. I think it's more risk than the reward. But that's why I like kettlebell training and yoga. I just get a lot more value in mobility and strength and endurance and different planes of motion. You don't get the same type of repetitive over and over. I'd rather do kettlebell circuits than do a clean and then do a snatch and then do a couple step back lunges, do some kettlebell swings and then switch back and then left arm and then right arm. And be dripping with sweat, out of breath, and be getting a lot of like strength and stabilization and mobility, than just going, yeah, and just running. Just saying. But there's nothing wrong with moving like that and sprinting and doing that, but long distance running is not my thing. And I've done it. I've done all that stuff. And in terms of the application and what it does for your physique, and just, it doesn't mesh very well with strength training to that extent when you just overdo that. But look, if you love to run, okay, you can love to do something. That's great. You can really enjoy it. But I don't understand why you just wouldn't just add the lifting. And I always tend to switch back to the cardio. It's like, okay, don't. It ain't that fancy. It's not that complicated. It might not sound that romantic. It's like, oh, just don't. It's like, well,
My name's Forrest Gump.
That's right, James. But I just felt like running. It's a household name. No, all right. Let's see. Christos, follow up with the PT thing. I believe usually PTs are afraid to load the tissue enough for the patient to see optimal results. They usually prescribe an exercise for 10 reps of 3 with a load that the patients can do for 50, for 10 reps of 3. Oh, you mean they do like 3 reps or 10 reps, but the patient is super fucking light? Yeah, probably, because they have insurance. Look, if you're going to a physical therapist, the last thing they want to do, that's one of the hardest things. Like, personal training is not easy. You're trying to gauge how much someone is pushing, how much someone is trying, how much effort someone is putting out that you can't feel. You have to go based on their facial expressions, based on their muscle performance, and based on like how it looks. You have to be a very, very, very skilled personal trainer to really know how to push someone, but not push them too hard, because you can't feel what they're feeling. You really need to communicate and really have that like sixth sense and really understand the human body and really have a lot of experience. Because if you don't lift yourself and you don't have a ton of experience and really know the body and really understand, you're going to be, it's rolling the dice. You're really going to be risking either getting someone too sore, not training them hard enough, or injuring them. You have to really know how the body works and really have a lot of experience firsthand to know how hard to push someone else. And it's a challenge. So I would believe that therapists are usually under overloading their patients just because of liability. They don't want to hang themselves out there. All right, cool. All right, fam. So that was awesome. That was fucking great. That was lit. And usually would do more. Normally would do more, but got to head out. We got a family event. I hope you have a great Father's Day. So let's give away the Swole card. A reminder that tomorrow's episode is private for members only. It's a, hey, look. You could be there. You could be there, Beaches. You just got to join the Swole fam. It's less than $5. Head on over to swolenormousx.com. And if you want access to all the amazing content, the yoga classes, the meditation, the workout programs, fucking virtual trainer, master classes, we got some big stuff coming up this week. All the private live streams, all the Swole fam roundtables. You'll never miss another episode. Head on over to swolenormousx.com. Yesterday's episode will be available soon. And tomorrow's episode is our weekly accountability meeting, 12 noon Eastern time. Super zoomed in. 12 noon Eastern time inside Swole TV. It'll be streamed inside Swole TV and also inside the private Facebook group, so you can watch it wherever you prefer. And I'll be texting you before the live stream, but it will be 12 noon Eastern time. So strap in, strap it on, and get ready for that. Falcon. Yes, Freddie. Can we give away the Swole card, Yabish? Can we give away this fucking Swole card? Yes, we can. Make sure you also subscribe to Daily Swole on YouTube and hit the bell to be notified, and check out the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and leave a review. Motherfucker, if you don't leave a review...
That's fucking bullshit.
That'd be fucking bullshit. Why would you not leave a review? Leave a 5-star review. It helps a ton. If you haven't left a review yet, go and do that right now. Falcon, let's give away this Swole Privilege card. Let's get this fucking scrolly scroll. Who's going to win? Hashtag for the win? No, who's got this? Who's got it, baby? Come on, scroll. Scroll. Someone better go to the fucking gym. APS. No. I missed a couple questions. Bummer. No. Not enough people. No one really did a fucking Swole Privilege. We got one. Michael David Connell. Congratulations. At the buzzer. Very nice. We do got a winner. Very nice, Michael. Michael, do you have Swole Privilege? Michael? If you don't, now you fucking do. Congratulations. Everyone say congratulations, Michael. Send us that fucking email, Bro Jackson, to support@swolenormous.com. Swole card 1872 in the subject. Your mailing address in the body of the email will send you that card ASA to the motherfucking P. And fam, go enjoy the rest of your day. Let's nut this beach. Let's play a little piano. And let's go make some fucking gains. Are you ready? Falcon, take it away. Close this fucking nut up. Put the nut away. Falcon, thank you. Where is... Wait, hold on. No. It's going to pop up now, isn't it? Yeah, why? What's with the nut? What's with the nut issue? All right, we got nut problems. Let's do it again. Falcon, did you fuck this up? Falcon? What'd you do? What is going on with you? What is going on with you? What is going on with you? Why is that email there? What is going on with you, Falcon? Excuse me. Are you ready? Your Highness, are you fucking ready? Thank you. God. These fucking Falcons are out of control.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
I got hairy legs.
You too, Lexi's daughter, to be specific. Will do, Peaceful Bandit. Thank you. Randy, goddamn right I do. Fucking Swole Privilege, baby.
Make sure make sure you have the record player on at night.
Well, fam, happy Papa's Day, baby. Well, thank you so much for joining me for episode 1872 of the Daily Swole. The most muscular Swolecast, Beercast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleazecast, and Slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex. We all flex our biceps. You know? You fucking know? It just feels so good. You like that shit? Fucking nailed it.
He's on fire!
USA, greatest country in the world.
Goddamn right. One hand. Ooh, that was nasty.
Boom shakalaka!
Good Falcon.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn, that turn.
Not today, Grandpa.
Blonde.
Not today.
And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down. So it was straight and then watch the hair
Creep.
come back up again.
Why? Why would they do that? Why do you want kids petting your legs? How'd you not get arrested for that? All right, fam, thank you for being here. We'll see you tomorrow for the accountability meeting. Remember, you could join right now over at swolenormousx.com. Don't miss out on that because it's going to be fucking lit. It's going to be fucking lit. And I'll see you tomorrow at 12 noon, fam, inside Swole TV. Peace, McGee's, deuce, McGee's. Your boy, Papa Swolio. Oh.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stock crashing, like an IPO trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now they can't left and they so mad, it's like.
Then yeah, I found that young king with my crown at 10 racks in the fanny pack, couple hundred in the Louis bag.
That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you laid. That's a bed that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint you. What the fuck is you saying? I only go where they pay. What kind of game is you playing? Yeah, whoa, my shit is relevant. Off topic, my melanin is popping. I'm taking skeletons on closets and making new deposits. I'm in my element, no ollie.